This is a discussion and description of an Urglaawe altar. We'll begin with the goddess Holla, who is seen as the mother of the Pennsylvania German nation. She is known to us through the folk practice of Brauerei, which is our healing tradition, but it also incorporates a great deal of lore about the old deities and the old ways. Also through Brauerei comes our knowledge of die Weisskepik Frau, who is a healing entity who appears to practicing Braukers during their shamanic states. Here attached to a wood block, which I admit I am not very artistic with, but I did want to have some representation of the lesser known deities, is an image of Berchta, who may be Holla by a different name, or she may be Holla's sister or cousin. This pine cone represents the goddess Tsiza. We used to have an image of her that was from the Rathaus in Augsburg, Germany, but it was a very Christianized image of her, so she appeared very much like Mary, which caused some confusion. But we do see her as the remover of obstacles, the undoer of knots, the one who helps people succeed with just causes. At some point, we'd like to have her image engraved into the base of that item. Next, we have the god Njord, known primarily from Scandinavian lore, but we do honor the Scandinavian gods as well, particularly since the lore of many of the deities has been lost, so we have to rely upon one another very often to fill in the gaps. Next to him is our image that we use for Ostra, or as the other heathen groups commonly refer to her as Ostara, the goddess that we see in the coming of the spring equinox. And we have our image of Suna. Suna is the goddess we see within the sun, and unlike the Roman tradition, the Teutonic tradition see the sun as feminine and the moon as masculine. Here we have the goddess Iduna, or Idun, who keeps the apples for the gods and keeps them young and healthy, known again from Scandinavian lore. Here we have the goddess Siva, or Thor's wife, Sif, from Scandinavian lore also. Here we have Eir, or as we call her Eir. That's quite possibly the same goddess as die Weisskepik Frau, the goddess of healing, but the lore leads us to think that they may be two different entities. Here we have an image of Gna, the messenger goddess of Frigg, within Frigg's retinue. And on this side we have Frigg. And the other side, which I'm not going to turn it right now, we have some of the pictures of the other goddesses, such as Fola, in Frigg's retinue. Down here we have a statue from within Scandinavian history of a Valkyrie, or we also use it to represent our maternal ancestral spirits. Well, I shouldn't say maternal, I should say matriarchal. Here we have an image of Freya, who is very difficult to describe. Some people say she's the goddess of love and sex, or we see love and sex within her. She's much more than that also. She's also a goddess with a great deal of power, knowledge, and wisdom, and a great love for the people. And so we hail Freya frequently. Here we have her brother Frey, also known as Ing, a god we see in the fertility, the soft, gentle rains, particularly in for Pennsylvania Germans, we see him within the pork and sauerkraut meal. The boars or pigs are sacred to him. Here we have, again, from Scandinavian lore, we have the image, but we know him as Woden, or the Allfather. This is the Norse Odin. We tend to see him less as the god of war and more as a god of shamanic journeys, which brings us to whole Santa Claus and the sleigh thing, which would be a separate discussion. Here we have one of my statues of Tyr, or we call him Tsiu, the sky god. For him, we tend to see him as the god of war for just causes. He is quite possibly the consort of Caesar. And here we have Thor, Arduna, as we call him, who's the god of course, thunder, lightning, cattle, and historically we have people in the Pennsylvania Dutch country turning fence posts upside down to reveal the concrete, which functions as a Thor's hammer to protect the cattle within. We tend to burn incense even though there may not be any historical basis for the lore, but within the lore, but we do burn it. We have our oath ring there. We use mugwort to smudge or sanctify things. In Pennsylvania German practice, mugwort is used much like Native Americans would use white sage. We have rune banners and flags. We have our Irminsul, our Thor's hammer, and we also use the sickle because the sickle is the tool of Hala. So that thing that just fell over is our bottle of Hexenkopf water, which comes from our holy site at Hexenkopf. And I will let it go at that, and we'll pick up at a later time. Thank you very much.